It's a good question. I think there are so many film festivals now. It seems every town, every city has one, and they vary hugely in terms of scale and funding and content. But they do seem to have become more important in recent years than they ever were before. And I think there's obviously more stuff has been made than ever before. With digital technology, and things are cheaper to make. It's easier to get stuff made, but then the conundrum, as it always has been in a way, is distribution and getting things seen. So I think festivals, that's why there's been a rise in festivals, is in part because there's just so much stuff that's being made, and it's a way of making sense of all the stuff that's being made, because you could just stick it all up on YouTube, or you could just have stuff running, but it needs, I think it needs, but I would say this, people like us that are able to hopefully make some informed choices and selections, because we're lucky enough to see more than most people. We can give a platform to work that we think is interesting, and where possible sort of make gentle connections between that and other things, so that people, by finding out about these films, are also finding about other aspects of cinema history. So there's an element of education to it, and not with a heavy sort of you must watch this, or being too sort of didactic about it. It's sort of, there is a strong kind of education element really that's running throughout. So I think yes, they've sort of grown because of the amount of stuff that's being made, and also because they act as a sort of alternative distribution network now, because there is so many films being made, they can't all fit into cinemas, and because of commercial pressures, lots of films that would have been released, say even 5 years ago, they don't get any kind of theatrical release anymore. So, and that's, which is just distributors playing very safe, because it costs money to take a film into distribution, to secure the rights, to make the posters, and all of that. So festivals have kind of stepped into that gap and have this, it is like an informal network, a sort of alternative distribution network, where films are played at, say, festivals around the UK, but they won't then come back and appear in cinemas. They'll just have.
Yeah.
And I think also they have grown because there is this. I mean, we are at an interesting moment in history because of technology, and I suppose to see what's happened with music, for example, the way that people consume music nowadays, downloads and so on, and it's essentially free. But it's quite a solitary, everyone has their headphones clapped to their ears, and they're in their own kind of very private worlds, and then obviously with the internet and so on. So that is, at the same time as that is happening, there is a need for people to have the social aspect and the human contact. So, say the growth in live music that's happened at the same time as the growth in digital downloads is, they're obviously intimately connected, but it's all very well listening to music in your bedroom on your headphones, but the need for that experience of watching it with a group of people is stronger than ever. And I think it's the same with book festivals. You can see there's this massive rise in things like the events in Hay, on Wye, and across the globe, people reading Solitary Pursuit, but then they have a stronger urge than ever before to talk about the books with other people, and the rise in book clubs, or to to be ask the author questions. And I think it is the same with film and the moving image, really, that people increasingly watch things on their laptops, or they're downloading, or they're watching on DVD, but they, I don't know if it's a primary human need, but there's still a great desire to watch a film with an audience of strangers, if you like, and then perhaps talk about it afterwards, and certainly if it's got a film director coming down and talking about his work, it creates a buzz, which is good for making people interested in film and the moving image, and it also has, I suppose you'd call it, added value, because it's more than just watching a film. It is often discussion and, let's say, visiting filmmakers and things. So I think they're sort of some of the reasons why festivals are important, and why they've had this kind of growth in certainly in the last few years.